Hey everyone, welcome back to the homestead. The last couple videos that I've made and posted have been me getting things done around the barn and getting things winterized and just ready for colder weather. And a lot of it is dealing with the goats and making things a little less drafty for them. One of the projects was doing this little like lean-to off of the barn so that they had a way to get out of the weather while they're out in their yard. But one thing that I still need to do in here is get a hay feeder up, and then I want to start preparing for the mineral buffet that I want to get for them. And so I'm thinking the hay feeder is going to go here, and then on the shorter wall is where I'm going to do their minerals and herbs. And I think that'll wrap up like this little outside area. Now with this being a picket fence, there are slats in it or spaces and gaps, and I want to protect the hay and minerals from weather. So I think what I'm going to do is tack up some heavy duty plastic behind where the hay feeder and like the minerals are going to be, and that way it's ultimately protected from wind and rain. And then we'll install the feeders over top of that plastic. I'm just going to be using plastic that I got for my garden several years ago. It's heavy duty, like tarp type plastic that I use to cover my gardens in the spring to kill off weeds. And so I think I'm just going to take a couple cuts of that and use that for the backers on the hay feeder and the mineral buffet. And that way they just have a little bit of protection from the elements. And my goats will have easy access to hay and minerals and herbs while they're out in the yard instead of having to access the barn, because I don't think I want them to have access to this end stall all the time. It's just too small with all three of them being in there. It gets really dirty really fast. And so I think them being out in the yard and just having a shelter to get out of the sun, get out of the wind and rain will be more than enough. So I'm going to go ahead and gather my materials. I'm going to get some plastic out of the greenhouse, and then I'm going to show you my thoughts on how I want to build this hay feeder. So to make the hay feeder out there, I'm just going to use this cut off piece of sheep and goat panel from when I did the dividers for these stalls. I had a bit of cut off material, so I'm going to use this. And then I'm going to use this scrap piece of 2x4 that was ripped down to a 2x2. And what I'm going to do is, for the top part, because these are really, really hard to cut, and I would have to use a metal grinder, and metal grinders freak me out a little bit. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to mark on this 2x4 where all of these pegs are, and I'm going to drill out a hole and sink these pegs into this 2x4, and then outside where I'm hanging it, I'm going to drill holes where the bottom pegs go and slide those in to those holes in that 2x4, and then that will secure the bottom on the fence, and then this will make these less dangerous. And then I will use some more scrap lumber to connect the top to the fence. So let me find a drill bit that will work for this size metal wire, and we'll start drilling some holes and make our super simple hay feeder for the lean-to. Let's go. is done. I might need to adjust the supports at some point in time because they cracked a little bit, but for the time being, she's sturdy. So let's go get some hay and fill it up. And so that is my DIY goat feeder for the outside loafing area. Girls seem to be liking it. What I might do is I might put some pavers along the wall there, so any grass that or hay that falls out is on the pavers, and they might be more willing to eat it instead of off the ground. But we shall see. I like it when scrap turns into usable stuff on the homestead. So if you guys have any questions about this project, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and remember to grow where you're planted.